we discussed. But for those who did not listen to it, basically what we spoke about was to try to develop the content. Also, we have the deadline. The deadline to get back to the people is on Thursday. It's Bosco, it's Peter who spoke to the people, and he had already given training to them. And based on what he did with them, they are interested in taking it further. So we need 4 people, and we are supposed to divide the responsibilities. So this is why we are here. Look at how we are going to develop the concept. So basically, that's it. So we need to wait for Peter or Alex to tell us what exactly we are supposed to do. And then based on the availability of everybody, we can know what we are going, or if we are available to do it or not. And he also mentioned that some people can just be there. We don't, or we need 4 people, 4 main people, and the rest of the team can come as support. There could also be panel, so panel discussion. So some people can pop in as panelists to discuss some topics throughout the training. Also, for the training, we need some people you need to pre-record the training so that in case we have some issues, your let's say the course is already done, so we can just play it offline, like even if you're not available. And we all need to master the content in case somebody is not able to deliver, or let's say somebody can sit in for him. So I guess those are the key points we mentioned this morning.
Thanks.
Peter,
thanks.
You have something to add?
No, thanks. Basically, a great job in summary. And I think you captured all the key things, and basically about the training, the need to really get the team working closely together to get the content together, and also that supporting each other, such that in the sense, if I am making a presentation and I drop off, we don't want it to be seen to be unprofessional. We need to really to have that continuity. And then, of course, that element, again, we say that if everything else fails, we need to have pre-recorded our content so that the content is available, it can be played to the participants. So I think this is really good in terms of the summary. There are some things that we were discussing earlier with Ralph, and maybe I don't know whether Ralph is still on. He had raised a few points which would be important for us to sort of consider, because what we are trying to, the objective we are trying to really drive forward here is institutions like the one we are trying to work with. They have a problem in terms of they have resources to do things, and they are very narrow in the way they view what they are doing. They are looking at delivering results or delivering impact, but they are very rigid in the design of the process. And by the time they realize, when they are finishing with their research, whether it's after 2, 3 years or 4 years, they really cannot see how or what it has done to society, because the research they're supposed to be doing is not supposed to be a piece of paper. It's supposed to have impact in society. So I believe that Ralph, if you're still there, there's some points you raised. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you. Please.
Good. Okay. Now the point I was making was that the CG system demands impact. People have to have a result, and that conflicts with research, because research is an unknown. You can't, if you know the result, then that's not research. But what they don't realize is that business itself is a research. When you start a new business, you don't actually know how many customers you've got. You don't actually know what price things will be or what they're prepared to pay. If the scientists realize that they could attack the impact side as a research project, I think they might get more empathy with what they're trying to do. At the moment they get an idea, they promise impact, and if it doesn't get it, they change it, add bells and whistles and change the color and make the size different, but They don't actually follow the lean way of doing business. So making everything a hypothesis, testing it, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, change it. So you have to keep pivoting until you get the perfect one. If they realize that business itself is a research, then I think they'll be very sympathetic with that.
Very good. Thanks, Ralph, for that, because again, that's a very fundamental part of as we are thinking about the content, we really need to think of how such nuances or such assumptions are brought forward, because as we said, or as we raised, the point is that we are working at two levels. We're working at the level of the management, top management, and then we're working with the researchers themselves. So as we are designing the content, these are some of the peculiarities we really need to bring out. I don't know whether Bosco, are you there? Are you able also to chip in? As you saw, as you heard, Ingrid gave a summary, and since you are part of the discussion beforehand, maybe you have some additional things that you picked on the take home, so that as we discuss this, we need to think of the way forward and what really needs to be done. Because, like I said, in between now and Thursday, I need to send to them a sort of a tentative concept framework and the methodology of delivery, and the time frame that we think we shall be delivering this. And maybe just before I let you speak, Bosco, is that, remember, as I mentioned earlier, is that while these guys are interested in the training in terms of online training, they are also keen to have the possibility of, if and when the situation improves, then they can also be the typical training that we normally give. So there are two elements to this, that even when I'm giving the concept to them, I will be capturing both models of the one that's done online and one that is done offline, if that's what to use. And then, of course, it has implications on locality and the maximum number of people that can be trained and all that. But that is information that we already have, because this is not the first time we are doing this. But Bosco, are you able to make any additional comments based on Ingrid's submission, and maybe based on what Ralph has also highlighted?
Okay, thanks, Peter. Briefly, I missed out on had some issues with connectivity. I missed out on some of Ingrid's submission, but I think it's basically what we are discussing in the morning. Now, in addition to identifying the facilitators, the 4 facilitators you mentioned, I think we also need to have identified the incubators, the successful ones that are going to be showcased, especially, as you said, after if and when there's movement across borders, then we're able now to be able to showcase the example of how you brought people from Malawi to Nairobi to have look at successful incubators. I think it also need to identify such. That's what I can add on for now.
Okay. Thanks, Bosco. Yes, I think you're raising also a very important point in terms of what Ingrid said, is that what we are presenting is that we have the 4 who will be the trainers, but we have the technical support. So there are 2 levels, in the sense that if you imagine that we shall be doing, first of all, the content development will be developed by the bigger team. But then we need the team that will be actually like the designated team that will make sure that for those 4 days, the content is being projected and they have internalized everything, and they're able to make sure that it's flowing from end to end. So that's very important. The element also that was highlighted is that in the design of the program, we need to make sure that if you are working with people for 4 days online, you really need to be very engaging and providing useful content, including panel discussions probably, including inviting maybe successful researchers who have actually converted their research into something that is become commercialized in the sense of impact in terms of business. And also the last part that you raised again is a question that when it comes to the final, it comes to the training that will happen maybe offline, is that we really need again to think on how you showcase examples of real successful processes, because when you're dealing with adults are different from kids because the adults' imagination is normally a bit limited compared to kids. So adults will internalize something more when they see, feel, and touch, as opposed to kids. Kids can have a wild mind that can allow you just to talk on things and they can create the image in their head. So I think this is a very important part. But then again, and this is also something that we need to borrow from when you're looking at the baseline. The baseline is that if you think of how Unibrain was designed, the Unibrain was designed at some point when the idea was that the universities were not working with the private sector. So the idea was how do you build that bridge? And in our case, it's almost similar, but now what you're saying is that you're working with researchers who are not incidentally inside universities, but are inside a research institution, and they probably have more resources, and probably they are more focused. But the idea is that their research should have value to society. So our remit is sort of slightly more focused, and probably what I will do after this discussion, I'll share the document that I've been working on. It's online, which will allow you to engage with what I've been trying to distill, because I'm hoping that tomorrow I'll finish the document so that by Thursday I'm able to present to them. But there's still some information they were supposed to send me today, which they never did. I hope they'll send it by the end of the evening today, because they were supposed to give me a framework understanding of the programs that they are working on right now and the kind of researchers that they have on board, and also part of the alumni whom they want to be involved in the program, so that we are able to then start contextualizing how we would really have a bigger impact with us knowing the audience whom we are curating the training for. So I don't know whether there's any other feedback or maybe comments. I believe there should be comments, because we never, what we did is that we went back, but we never came up with the way forward and when. But I've already sort of given an indicator that on the short term, we need, first of all, the concept, at the same time, we need to really be committed that when we submitting this, we are committing ourselves to produce the content. And we are also committing ourselves to familiarize ourselves with these tools of engagement, because right now, as you can see, maybe Alex again has not been able to log in. So we cannot be able to offer training online if you're not able to log in. So we need really to work on addressing the redundancies in the proposed methodology of delivery. Back to you guys for comments.
Peter, can you hear me?
Okay, it's well noted.
Carry on, Ingrid.
Come on, Alex, is it Ingrid or Ingrid? Go ahead and then drop.
Okay. So basically, Peter, what I'm thinking is, let us know what you have, what you've already been working on, because I guess you already have things, like you said. So after you share the document with us, we will know the way forward. But for what I can say now, there is no really need to decide on the people, because not everybody is here.
Yeah.
Not everybody is here. A lot of people are not able to get online now. So there is no need to assign like responsibility as in saying you are specifically doing this, so that let us have the content and the framework and the methodology and what they are working on currently, the people we are supposed to do the training for, and see how we can link whatever we have to what they are doing now. Now, another thing you mentioned is that we are not only engaging with research, with top managers.
Yeah.
Are we doing the training for them at the same time? or are we engaging with the researchers and then after that top managers? That's my question. That's one of the questions.
Okay.
Also, when it comes to research, the comment I can make is that I think Bosco spoke about engaging with successful incubators, like showcasing successful incubators that we've been working with. But we can go ahead, we can do beyond that. What we can do is that in the process of research, like you said, a lot of researchers are just doing their, whatever investigation they are doing in the lab. It's not going outside. And that's where the gap comes when it comes to commercializing solutions. So what we can do is that even in the process, by linking them with successful incubators, they can see based on the research they are working on how they can engage with those incubators. Let's say when it comes to after the concept, the hypothesis, the experiment, and then building the product or building the solutions, they can just they often escape the testing part. Say they just do it, they do the simulation, they don't really bring it to the market. So the testing can be with the incubators. And if they are somehow part of the process from the beginning, it makes it much easier. And when they want to take the solution to the next level, they already know they have actual feedback from people on the ground. So that's my small contribution.
Thanks, Ingrid, for that. I think you raised also a very important point on the. First of all, you asked the question about the top level management and the incubate, or rather the researchers, the junior and senior researchers. I think what we would do, and I think this is what we should propose in the technical proposal that we are putting to them, is that when we divided the training into, say, three levels, level one should be open to everybody, because it should be more of informing people on what it is that incubation, what incubation is, what processes are involved, what innovation management is, what business curation is, how ecosystem building is done. All those things should come at the first part. And then, because that then can include the top level management and the researchers. But when you go to the second level, that's when we really need to focus on how do we really build a coherent, strong system that is allowing now the researchers to really reflect on what they're doing and really see how they can start building their value and projecting that value to the industry. And like you said, that is when they should be really finding out whether is there an incubator that we can collaborate with, is there an industry that we can collaborate with, and if we are collaborating, what are the tools of engagement, and if we are engaging, is it for commercial, is it open source, whatever. All those things will come in. So I think that's a very important part. And I think Raf, you wanted to yeah, go on, Raf.
Can I come in, because I've got another commitment? The one is, livestock research is quite different from a lot of things. So I don't know how well CClear is doing. Is CClear still successful? You're going to have to look for livestock innovations and livestock incubators. I'm quite excited about this, but Peter, I was a director of ILRI, so don't use my name at this point, okay? Because all those guys were under me at one time. I don't think it's a good idea to put my name forward. I'm prepared to be a resource person behind you and maybe come in later, but I wouldn't put my name up front or in it as part of the thing at this point, okay? Because I have a long history with ILRI. My memory is very good, and I want to keep that very carefully, treated very carefully.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to learning more about it. At the moment, I feel I don't know enough about what you're trying to do. But you're going to have to use things like YouTube modules. I can imagine you're going to have a set of YouTube modules which people can play. And then you back it up. And you can see there are a lot of examples now of very good YouTube modules that we can use.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, good luck to everybody.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
Bye.
Bosco, do you have any comments to make? I think was also a good pointer that we have a resource in somebody who was a director there, so he can also give us tips on what are the nuanced things that we might not speak from outside. Bosco, anything to add? No. Ingrid, I think what we can do, that I'll take your point that you said. I'll share the document, and when I share it, then you're able to see how it's progressing. It's a YouTube. It's a GDocs. So I believe I have everybody's email. I'll just drop the link into the WhatsApp group, so that everybody can see what we are working on, and then from there we can touch base. And I think we need to keep on communicating, because as you go back to our group, we've been discussing about developing this content for a long time, and this is our opportunity to really bring our heads together.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything to add, so that we can maybe let you guys go?
Not really. So we will just be waiting. We'll just be waiting for the document.
Okay, very good. So let's touch base again, and then agree for another meeting soon. And I will share the document. And thanks so much for dropping in.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.